case clearly showed us that there is major corruption in Arkansas. But could it also be in Indiana? More specifically, in Delphi.
And they were shipping it through UPS in candle wax. It all over Delphi, Kokomo, down to Rushville. See, like, people have always thought I was crazy with this theory. But Tina and I know what Christy was up to and what the involvements were. And even for Derek not to come out and share some of this for 7 years.
Pathologist Dr. Baden came out of the autopsy and said, "This doesn't look like a self-unaliving. It looks more like a perpetrated red rum." Okay? Also in this report, they tested them for all kind of, not just illegal ones, but even sleep medicines and things like that. All 4 girls were negative. So as far as whether they didn't smell the fire because of some other source, the answer is no. You see how the manipulation goes?
Listen, they had Megan Allen's earrings, or they didn't test those. They didn't test all of the body parts of the girls.
And law enforcement is putting us in this position. So if you don't like it, law enforcement, think about who got us to this situation.
Not going to close his case. He said the house looked like there had been a party, and he said, Michelle, that's an evil, he told our family, that's an evil house. That just, there's evil in that house. That's what the coroner told us. So
Wow. Yeah. So, don't be telling people where you are and what you're doing. Don't be telling law enforcement stuff, because it's going to come back to bite you.
No, just skull x-rays, but I can't have an MRI. I don't know what I'm going to do, actually. And, I know Milgram definitely was with me because I saw him off and on through all my life, up until I was about 18 years old. But then I think Delgado only came for the surgery.
Not 5 minutes later, Jerry Holman called me, a recovery streamer.
I cannot declare that Richard Allen is totally innocent.
I really had a... So how, you finished your book?
I did. I'll just know, if you ever get a call from jail, you already know what my charge is. Somewhere, somehow, I have been. For some reason.
There's just so many people that, I want to believe them because they're on the rational side of the argument, and then they'll say something that just...
Oh, hello, my silky friends. Sorry I'm a little bit late. We had some technical difficulties, but I am not going to dwell on that because I am super excited for my guest tonight and my friend. I consider her a friend as well, and so I'm not going to delay it any longer. Say hello to Adrienne. Hello, Adrienne.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Did you have a good holiday?
Yeah, pretty low key. How about you?
Yeah. Oh, hold on. My daughter's texting me. Sorry.
No, you're
Kitchen
good.
disaster.
Thank you for inviting me on, though.
Oh, no. We should have done this before. Look, here's the thing. It's girls' night. And I love ladies' night. And I think that we should do this a whole lot more.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that.
Yes. I mean, nothing against the gentlemen that come on here with me because they're my friends as well. Mm-hmm. But there's just something about girl power. I love it. I love it. I love a female perspective, especially when it comes to true crime, because here is what I think. And y'all might say I'm totally wrong, but my opinion is this, and this is watching. There are a lot of really great female creators who do true crime, and a lot of them are very successful. But in the broad, what am I trying to say? The broad scheme of things.
I don't know.
I feel like there are a lot of male to female ratio. Now, most of the audiences of true crime are females. Like, we all love true crime. I don't know. I think it's like, I don't know. There's something about us. We're just drawn to it. So the majority of your audience is going to be female.
Mhm.
And that's fine. But for some reason, females tend to like and support male creators. In my opinion, I've noticed that a male creator can go further quicker than a female creator
Yeah.
in this genre and this niche,
Mm.
which really ticks me off because I feel like, yeah, come on, ladies, come on.
Mhm. Yeah.
But it's like, is it just, do they seem more authoritative? I don't know. What do you think it is?
Oh gosh. It could be that. I think, especially in drama prone areas, maybe they think, maybe people think that we're just going to be about the drama, and that the males would keep it more on track, but I really don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, that's true of some channels. I will say that. That is
Yeah.
true. I honestly, I'm not about the drama. I stay out of the drama.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hate the drama.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm not about that. I do cut up sometimes, but no, I try to keep it on track.
You
But
do.
yeah.
You do an excellent job, and I loved your intro too, because it
Oh, thank
was,
you.
yeah, showing a conglomeration of all these really awesome people you've talked to, and great discussions that you brought up, and cases that don't get talked about nearly enough. So
Yeah.
yeah.
There are some, I mean, I would love to hammer down on some more. The one, well, Michelle Barton, she's great. And her whole thing with Tanner Barton, that's a case that, I don't know, there's so much corruption. Will she ever get justice? I don't know. I mean, I really don't. And then we've got Carol Stanhope and the whole MK Ultra thing. I sometimes, I was such a tiny channel when she reached out to me. And not that I'm big now, but I'm still tiny. But I was like microscopic. Wasn't even monetized when Carol started showing up in my chat, and I was just so amazed that she wanted to share her story on
Yeah.
my channel.
Yeah.
And she has also become a friend. I mean, we talk, we text outside of, this. And wow, she is such an amazing person.
Yeah.
And so, I love to, that's another case. I would love to just, I wish I had, 100,000 subscribers to push it out further and let people know. Like, there's
Yeah. Exactly.
victims running around
Mhm. Mhm.
being harassed,
Yeah.
you know? Because
Yeah.
with her, it's daily. Like, it's not just this happened 40 years ago. It's still happening. She's still living with it.
That's
And
insane.
yeah,
Okay.
it's insane. Let,
Wow.
let me say hello to peoples real quick, because y'all, this, I was talking to Adrienne a couple of days ago, and I was just like, hey, I really want to do something. There's so many good topics out here. I really wanted to have a girl show. Um, I love it when people are on and they co-host with me because, like I said, I get tired of hearing myself, and so I do,
You have
and
a great voice. I could listen to you all day.
well, I couldn't. I feel like, oh my God, these people have got to be sick of hearing me. So, I like to have somebody on with me,
Mhm.
and I had you on my mind, and so we were texting back and forth. I'm like, hey, let's do a show. And there's so many news stories out there. And then I got a hold of this one. And so we were texting back and forth. And it's like, Adrienne, I feel like we have just hit the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a rabbit hole that can go really dark really quick.
Yeah.
And it's another one. And I'm like, why is it that everything I'm interested in, I'm like, okay, this is going to get me swatted.
Ah. Yeah, well, it's because it's stuff that's relevant and matters, and if you hit the nail on the head, then they're gonna come for you, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, come on, can I find a subject that is relevant and is I can do advocacy and they're not going to show up at my door? I mean, I don't know. I haven't
Yeah.
found one yet, apparently. I'm trying to make this chat a little bit bigger where I can see it, and I can't get
Knock
it.
on wood, though, that that's not the case anymore. For you've been through enough. You've been through enough.
Yeah, we have, and just in Delphi, but even in this, I found, like I was telling you in the text, just when we started, we started talking about coroners, and that hits Delphi as well. It's like, come
Yeah.
on, is there anything nefarious that doesn't hit Delphi at some point? I don't think so. Um, all right, let's say hello to everybody before we jump right in.
Hi, Lisa.
Lisa, hello. Colorado needs to change their laws. Oh my gosh, we're going to look at that.
They do.
Uh, you weren't. Yeah, that's what I was going to say when it opened up. Like, I'm like, I know. I can see people lurking. Hello, Samantha. Good to
Hi,
see ya.
Sam.
Sweet dude Shibby, good to see you.
Shipping.
I'm trying to. My mouse is not wanting to work. Sorry. I can't pull these down. Buckeye, good to see you. Buckeye was in my spooky chat last night. I don't hardly ever do a live on. I'm kind of frozen. I don't know what's going on with this.
You don't seem frozen to me. Let me make sure. Let me pull it up.
Well, maybe it's my mouse. I can't do anything. No. Don't leave. Do not leave. It's
Yeah.
not for girls. It's just we're girls hosting. Okay.
No. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
I have YouTube up now, so I can see.
Hello, Lucy Anders. Good to see you.
Hi,
Yeah, I
Lucy.
see y'all in that. Like, look, you don't have to say hi. Don't be pressured. But if you're in there lurking, just a little hi would be nice.
Yeah. Say hi.
Do you have
Hey,
your kitty?
Carla. What's up?
Do you have your kitty, Adrienne?
Yeah, I hear them running around every bit,
Oh,
every once in a while. So I am kind of like, are they gonna show up here and try to crash the party? Because they've been doing that recently. So
I saw that on one of your lives. I was like,
yeah,
so I told Sachi she's settled down a little bit now. So I told her maybe you'll see Adrienne's cat so you can say hello.
I love Sachi. She's such a good kitty.
Okay, hello, Carla Ann.
Okay.
All right, so look, I saw this video. I saw this news article. Let me change to. I had to set up this whole thing so everything's not where I thought it was going to be. Let me share this one. I think it's this article. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me look at this. Now, I didn't even know this, y'all. This was just like what, a week? No, not even a week ago.
Something like that.
All right. What the discovery of improperly stored bodies in a Pueblo funeral home says about the state's death care industry. All right. I'm like, wait. What? What's going on in Colorado? So I started looking at this, and I'm gonna have my glasses off and on, y'all. I might get my good glasses for this. I hate to do it because like the light reflects, and you kind of look like a bug up here. But y'all, just if I look like a fly, just look away, look away. All right, so they're talking about following another case of mismanagement of human remains. What, another one? I didn't know there was the first one, but I guess, like Lisa said, there's something going on in Colorado. So, okay, so this is at the Davis Mortuary. The CBI said Monday, and this is on August 25th that there are more than the originally estimated 20 bodies recovered in the facility. Okay, 20 bodies. I'm like, okay, what? So you go on down to find you. What happens is you go down the rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So, okay. It says some remains found this month at Davis Mortuary are thought to have been stored for as long as 15 years. 15 years. Remains. What are you doing with remains for 15 years? Like, what, Adrienne, what does that mean? Like, you've just got, like, I've got Scully in the back of me, but like, he's not real. He's not a real skull.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
like,
that's obvious. I mean,
right.
I've thought about getting one that looks more realistic, but then I'm afraid people will think that I've got a real skull up there. You know?
I don't know if that's like a mental illness almost. Like, I know that he was the coroner, right, of that city or whatever, but it's almost like, did he get overwhelmed and just didn't, I don't know, because how do you go 15 years? How does nobody notice it? Like, it's just sad because like there's so many things that it could potentially mean, like missing loved ones, not knowing what happened, and then like also like the unhygienicness of it, like, oh, yeah. So I don't know how nobody noticed, you know?
Yeah. And are they labeled? Is that like, yeah, and Mrs. Johnson over there?
Right,
She
right.
just wanted to hang out?
Yeah,
Or is this like an oops?
yeah,
Is this like, okay, well, here's an arm, y'all, and clearly we didn't label it. We don't know who this is, so it's just kind of hanging out here.
yeah,
But we don't know, so we didn't know what to do with it. But wouldn't you
right,
do something like, I don't know? So
right.
I'm like, 15 years.
I don't get it. I
Yeah.
mean, there were cases in like in Arizona, Mesa. It's close by where I am, but where the lady had just got overwhelmed and kept all of these cremated ashes, just kind of like hoarded them in her own house. And then like 4 days ago, I guess, like when I was looking up stuff for this, they found like 120 cremated piles out in the desert in close to Las Vegas. Like, just somebody had just dumped them, and that they knew that they were human cremated, you know, stuff, because they had, still parts of the urns in them, still parts of zip ties, still parts of, you know. So how do you do that? How is that allowed to happen?
I don't know. And I had, until a few years ago, I had never seen a cremated body. When they say ashes, I assumed it was ashes. Now, I had a good friend that her husband passed away, and it was during 2020, and they had already planned to have cremation.
Yeah.
And so he had wanted to be spread a couple of places. And so she took him out of the urn, and he was in a bag. And, she's like, do you want to see him? And I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of morbid anyway. And I'm like, well, yeah, because I find it fascinating. I've never seen ashes. I expected it to be ashes. And I thought that I had seen, like, I don't know, stuff on social media or videos or something of ashes, but he wasn't ashes. It looked like, I'm trying to think it almost looked like crystals, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
hmm
Okay. Cause I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I can see how that would be a human body, like the fats and stuff, that are burned down.
Okay.
I'm thinking, okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
that it would be a body. And so, we took pictures. I know y'all think it, but you have to know her and me and him.
Mhm.
It was like they're like family. Okay. So we took pictures, like goodbye pictures
Yeah.
with the
That
ashes.
that's okay. That's okay.
It wasn't disrespectful. It was just like,
Mhm.
our last pictures together.
Right.
And so it was, and before they took him to the beach and wherever else he wanted to go, you know. And so I'm like, it was a pretty big heavy bag. And so I'm like, okay, so now I know what they are supposed to look like. But now I've heard story after story. As a matter of fact, there was one article I was reading where they said people were getting bags of dirt. And it wasn't, that was bags of dirt, and it wasn't even the dirt that was from their relative. And I'm like, if I hadn't seen a cremation before, I wouldn't know. Like, if you handed me a bag of like ashes from a fire, I wouldn't have known. Like, how am I supposed to know if I
No.
haven't seen it? So,
Right.
literally, you could hand people who don't know anything, and
Mhm.
they're not gonna have a clue.
Mhm.
But it gets worse. So I'm going to go back to this article because it gets uglier, even
Yeah.
uglier. Okay. So they're allegedly awaiting cremation. Now, I don't understand. Okay, Cotter may have given family fake ashes while the bodies were being stored, though the details of the bodies' identifications and reasons behind their storage are still being investigated. Authorities believe the investigation could take months. Well, I mean, I don't know what kind of state of decomposition they're in, so I guess so if you have to send it to the lab. Um okay. So, you know, this goes on to say um now this was on August 25th. It says neither Cotter nor his brother has been arrested at this time. How do you not be arrested for this? Um And it says, while shocking, the mistreatment of corpses in Colorado isn't an isolated incident. In 2023, and I've got that article too, nearly 200 decomposing bodies were found at the Return to Nature funeral home in Penrose, about 30 miles from Pueblo. Wow. That same year, the owner of a funeral home in Trinidad called for a state investigation into the Los Animas county coroner who had been improperly burying bodies. So what? I don't understand. Just what? Throwing them in the ground? No vault? No nothing? I didn't look that one up.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I'm going through this article and I'm like, I don't understand because and here's the thing. Because I'll get this right in a second. Because in this state, and I work in corrections, and I had last year someone in our facility who got sent to prison because now he did not unalive this person, but it's a complicated story. But anyway, there were several bodies that he was in contact with after they passed. Okay, didn't have anything to do with their passing, but basically rode them around in the car at different times and dumped them out. Now he is going to prison for abuse of a corpse.
Yeah.
Or he's in prison now for abuse of a corpse. So how are these people not in prison or not arrested for abuse of a corpse in Colorado? They're just like laying around the funeral home.
I don't understand. I mean,
I
is that
don't
not a
either.
felony? Was that not? Yeah. I don't understand.
Yeah, because I mean, just because they're at a funeral home, and these families, I mean, how upset would I be if you handed me a bag of dirt or something else and said, this is your family, and then I find out that my family member's body is still hanging out there. Look, I'm just telling you, I'd go nuts, Adrienne.
I
I'd
would,
be going in the funeral
yeah,
home, cutting that bag open and just
yeah,
throwing it everywhere, throwing those ashes. I'd be like, what the heck is this?
right.
You know.
Yeah, yeah, because oh, it's such a betrayal. It's such a betrayal
Yeah,
to these people.
yeah, it is. And so that's where the rabbit hole started for me. I'm like, okay. So
Hmm.
okay, so far, what are your thoughts?
Gosh, I mean, well, so um, I guess it's kind of the trade-off with modern society that, like, we have distanced ourselves so much from the death process, um, and everything has become very sanitized for good reason. But, you know, not fully then understanding what happens to our loved ones in that process can maybe make us vulnerable to um, having these kind of things happen. But at the same time, like, it should be up to, the larger powers of, like, probably the federal government to come in and to standardize how we're taking care of the deceased. So it's sad.
Yeah, that's one of the things we're going to look at. Hello, Josh. How you doing? Um, I know I put those somewhere. Look, I'd be a lunatic. That would y'all just hadn't seen that side of me. That
Well,
would
I
that
think
would
it exists in all of us, though. I
Yeah.
think anybody can be like pushed to that point. So
Well, yeah, especially now that I know, and you hand me a bag of dirt.
yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be on. All
Hmm.
right. Um, let me see. Let me find. So here's what I did, and I'm gonna go back. So I started doing some digging. I just started asking my AI. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. I started asking my AI some questions and just doing like the regular
Hmm.
and asking for cases like this. I may have to adjust this for a second because, yeah, hold on. Let me get this all together.
Oh wow.
Okay, now I remember this. And the reason I remember this is because I was working in was I working in Georgia or Tennessee? I think I was working in Tennessee. But I think I was working in Chattanooga and living in Alabama.
Okay.
But I have to go through to get there from where I was at the time. I had to go through a piece of Georgia.
Wow.
And so this was in 2002, and
Wow.
I'm driving around one day, and I'm listening to the radio because this was like, look, at 2002. This was like
Yeah.
forever ago.
Yeah. That's
And
totally
there
fair.
was, when you see this, 339.
I don't know
Look,
how it happens.
uncremated bodies. Okay. And then they found this guy had land. They found bodies everywhere. They were all over, not just like the inside. They were all over, partially buried out in the yard, basically on this acreage, in all stages of stuff. This guy, it was just insane, and
Wow.
they really didn't know because he had been operating for years, and they literally did not know how long, how many bodies were actually, you know, out there. This is the number they came up with. Now, so um this is what they got him for: 787 counts,
Oh my
um
gosh.
including theft by deception, abusing a corpse, and burial service fraud. He was sentenced, but listen to this. After you have, now this is over 300 families that you have affected, at least. He was sentenced to 12 years. That's it. 12 years. And 75 years of probation. Okay, well, wah. I know probation isn't fun, but it's not fun for anybody. But look, you're still out and about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, a major class action lawsuit resulted in a $36 million settlement. But guess what? If he doesn't have $36 million, they get nothing. So, does it really matter? I mean, no, he's never going to be able to pay that off.
No.
Um, Similarities to the Colorado case, failure to cremate bodies, large number, and criminal charges for fraud and mishandling remains. Now, that was the first case I ever heard back in 2002.
That's insane.
Yeah. And to me, at that time, it was such like, I thought this is never going to happen again, right? This is a one off case, but
Yeah.
it wasn't. And,
Wow.
yeah. So, but then you go through, and I'm just asking my AI a few, but I'm like just Googling it. You can find through the years so many cases like this, Adrienne. It's insane. So I'm going to go through some of this like really, really fast because it's not even like the real point, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, but oh,
Okay, so then in 2018, you had the Detroit funeral home scandals. Again, there's a lot. There was a lot in between 2002 and 2018. This is just, hitting the highlights. Um, Now, this one was mishandling the remains of infants and fetuses. Okay, they had the remains of 11 infants were found hidden in the ceiling. In the ceiling. What?
okay, so they know they're doing something wrong.
Right. Right. And like some of this, and I don't know if it's in this one or another article I read, but they're like, okay, well, in other words, you're not going to heat up the crematorium or whatever. You're not going to heat it up for
Oh,
a tiny infant because it costs so
okay.
much. Well, then,
Why do the service then?
right,
Why
then don't
offer
offer
the
that
service?
service.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or, come on, we develop a lot of things. Can't you make a smaller one?
Right. Exactly.
There's
Yeah.
got to be a way to incinerate smaller things. I mean,
So they were just then hiding them and giving the families something like dirt or, the
or something.
something that's okay, just to save money.
Right. So, but here's the thing, they had priors. The funeral home had already been shut down for numerous violations, including improper storage of embalmed bodies, unsanitary conditions, and financial fraud. So it's okay, you've already been shut down once at least, and then somehow you manage to get, and then you do it again.
I don't
All right,
understand.
didn't you learn the first time? No. Okay. Uh, but yeah, obviously, you're doing something wrong. It's not like, oops, I misplaced
Right.
them.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, wait, let me go back to that. I wasn't done with that. Okay. The Perry Funeral Home. Bodies were found, 63 fetuses and infants just were discovered just a week after that case. All right. So this is also a wider investigation into the funeral homes. This is all in the Detroit area. Okay. 2018. Now we got a problem in Michigan. So it's not just Colorado. Another one in Georgia in 2024. See, I didn't even hear about this one. Douglas, Georgia. 18 bodies in various stages of decomposition were found during an eviction. Wow. So I guess they were evicting they weren't paying their bills. I don't know. Whatever. They were evicting the people from the home. I didn't pull up this case, but 17 counts of abuse of a dead body. Again. So I'm like, okay, this is disgusting. Okay, for me, really. Like, what? This is gross. All right. Why are you keeping these bodies?
Yeah.
The one thing I know, Adrienne, is bodies stink. They stink
Yeah.
really, really bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go over this really, really fast because the thing is I think it's, while I think there is truth to it, I don't think, I don't buy it. I'm
Okay.
like, yes, there's truth. Yes, we need regulation. Yes, we need somebody to look into this. But I don't think this is all of the story.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so, the reason. Why does this keep happening? Um, Regulatory and oversight failures, lack of licensure. And it says in states like Colorado, there are no requirements for funeral home practitioners to be licensed, educated, or certified. Oh my God.
Jesus.
I had no idea. Now, a friend of mine, this is strangely enough, a friend of mine, probably 6, 7 years ago, she wanted to get her license to be a mortician. Now she has a career, a very good, lucrative career. And she's like, do you know how much they make? And I can't even remember how much they make in Alabama. She's like, she said, why don't you do this with me? She said, we could be morticians. I'm like, well, you know, I'm like, I clearly am not bothered by dead bodies because of my profession now. Like, it doesn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, well, it was a lot of money, and there was a lot of time my kids were smaller,
Okay.
and it was just not feasible. I'm like, I cannot take out a loan for this. I do not have the time to go to school full time to be a mortician. Yes, it'd be great. Could I do it? Absolutely. But nah, it's not going to happen. So she ended up staying with her job as well. So, but it was a 2 year course. It was a 2 year
Oh.
thing. I mean, that's why it wasn't like, because it was, if it had even just been maybe a year, I might have tried to work that in because I know they do get paid well in Alabama.
Yeah. Oh,
Um, but yeah, it was 2 years. I'm like, it's not happening, hun. Not gonna happen.
yeah.
So anyway, she went back to her life. She had, but she was married, and she, had somebody to take care of her while she went to school. I did not.
You right. Yep.
So, that makes a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I'm not a mortician.
I mean, yeah, it takes a certain kind of person. So I think you would have been good at it.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing, honestly, once somebody's gone, they're gone. Like, what's there to be scared of? And that, to give somebody dignity, because that's part of nursing, honestly.
Yeah, I agree
Let
with
me
that.
go back to here. That's part of my job. It always
Yeah.
has been. In nursing, a lot of people pass away, and from time to time, and that's part of what you're taught is giving people dignity after death. So we clean them up and we set the room, and whether you're working in ER or or some kind of trauma, or it's just
That's
long-term care, whatever.
yeah.
You want the room and everything to be pleasant for the family when they walk in, because you don't want them to walk into a traumatic scene.
Yeah.
So this is just something I'm used to. So, it's just another step, right?
Right.
So
Right.
to me, yeah, it's like, I'm
Yeah.
not morbid. It's just like they're gone. So what.
I really respect and admire those people. I really respect nurses, doctors, anybody that can handle, the human body, because I'm probably your opposite.
Let
So
me tell you something. The living are way more problems than the dead.
well, we still need people that can go in and do those types of things, but also take care of the living too. And know, so just know you're appreciated.
Well, thank you. Thank you. But,
Yeah.
yeah, but anyway, so, that's, um, but when I found out that you could be in Colorado and not be licensed, like you can do all this stuff without a license, I'm like, people like to hate on Alabama as being like, a hillbilly state. I want to tell you something. When it comes to professions, we're tough. we're tough on laws, and uh, any kind of profession, especially when it comes to healthcare professions, nursing. Um,
Agreed.
I don't know. We're way above in a lot of ways. So y'all, Alabama, y'all hillbilly haters, it's not what you think. It really is not. So, um, let's see. But let me go back to that. Let me hold on. Let me see what y'all are saying in the comments because I am way behind. Hey Deb, Sunflower Lola. Wow, I am so far behind y'all.
Again,
Uh,
make sure I have it on. Oh.
I'm like 25 minutes behind in y'all's chat. Interesting. A lot of y'all are having some interesting comments.
Fox Hollow Farm.
Um,
Oh, I know that one. The Fox Hollow Farm was the.
oh, Fox Hollow Farm. I did a whole thing on Hollow Farm.
I would love
Carla
to see.
Ann says I do hair and have done a lot of bodies, even makeup and nails. Yes, it's the last
That's
thing you can
wonderful.
do to care for people.
That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
absolutely. Yes.
That is really cool.
Uh, what are you saying about you sure don't want local Tyson meats? I don't know. Maybe where you're from, Samantha. I don't know. I would say I worked at a Tyson plant here, a certain one. Um, and because of working there, that is the only chicken that I'll eat.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
but now I know what kinds of chicken, where they sell to, and that is the only one I'll buy because I know how they do it. And
Okay.
that was part of my job to inspect and walk through the plant and see it.
Okay.
Um, that was another nursing job I had. I've done a lot of nursing jobs.
That's
So,
wonderful. That's good though.
okay, back to this media and these bodies because y'all, it gets terrible. All right, so okay, lack of licensure. Inadequate inspection. So they're not. Well, clearly they're not being inspected because you'd know if there were bodies in the ceiling if they were being inspected. Um, Reactive, not proactive. Industry resistance. Well, blah blah blah. I'm sure not that that's not all true. Okay, I'm sure it is. Now the rise of cremation. Yes, and I think that is definitely. I know a lot more people now that are saying that they are willing to be cremated, myself included. Um,
Yeah, I
but
think that.
and it says rising costs at the same time. The cost of operating a funeral home, including staffing, chemicals, and fuel, have been rising. Well, yeah, cash flow problems, business model failure, all the things. But you know what? We're all in that. Every industry is in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But this has been going on as we see from 2002. Okay. Now, this is one thing that I did want to talk about for just a second because I think it is something that you probably should think about now. Um, it says our cultural practices. Death is a taboo subject. Um, and it's true that you're vulnerable when you go. And this isn't a commercial for, doing your stuff early, but it's true. Nobody's comparison shopping when you're in that situation.
Right.
Um, a lack of transparency. Like nobody's going when you have to have a service, you're really just going to either where your family always goes or unless you have a plan you know done where you did bargain shop, et cetera, et cetera. So that can be one thing that I think is true. You're kind of just in that situation, makes you vulnerable.
Right.
Okay, so but again, these are just broad spectrum things. Do I think there needs to be advocacy for better laws and stuff? Licensure, yes, especially in states like Colorado, and but I'm like, this is happening too much. And here's the thing, Adrienne, I started thinking about, most people, not everybody, but most people have insurance. They have death insurance, you
Yeah.
know. Um, and funerals are expensive.
Yeah, they're ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's when because, at my job, I can't even remember how much the company gives me. If I were to pass away, it's standard, so much, plenty of money to bury me and then some that's company paid. And I'm like, why would I ever spend, I think, what are the commercials? They say like, I don't know, it's something like 15,000 or
Yeah.
something
Yeah, I was gonna
is
say
the
10 to
standard.
20. 10 to 20 usually, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, why would I spend that much on a funeral? Like, let me click this off. Why would I do that? Like, I could buy a used car for that.
Right.
My
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah.
like, well,
I
I'm
thought,
dead. Like,
yeah.
what do I, like, do I want to, I mean, do I really, Sachi,
Actually,
do I really need like, how comfortable does my casket really have to be?
it doesn't. It doesn't.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
how waterproof? Like, I don't understand. Like, these caskets are expensive, and I mean, the service, the what? Like, I don't care. I'm dead. Like,
Yeah.
I'm dead,
Yep.
gone.
Yep. And you could leave that money for your loved ones, you know?
Right. And I've told them, like, cremate me, do it cheaply, take
Mm-hmm.
me. And I've told them certain places, I want you to just, like, let me be free, let me fly,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and take the rest of the money and just go enjoy yourself. Like, be a
Yeah.
family, go to the beach, whatever, have a nice vacation.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
at which point, as this has been some years ago, so I will tell him, I will give him a little bit of break. But I told my kids this like a while back, and my second son looked at me and he's like, "And when do you think this is going to happen?" You brat.
What?
Yeah,
Excuse me.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, the point is, why would I want you to like? No, I don't want you to spend that kind of money.
No.
So, but let's just figure, okay, if somebody's going to spend $15,000, and I'm looking at the prices of caskets. The last time I was with somebody that when they died, and I had to go with a family to the funeral home, and you're looking at a casket that's like $10,000, $8,000 to $10,000, and that was a few years ago. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of money. Okay, I
Yeah.
understand and they say things like, it's got like I don't know, a ridiculous, like a 500-year warranty or something. Like, who's going to prove that out? Like, is it like,
I
are
don't
you
know.
gonna hold the seller to that actually?
I
And
don't. Yeah, I don't know.
where would the paperwork? But like, it's ridiculous. And do I really need that kind of coverage? No.
No.
Um, but if even at that, that's a lot of money. Okay, so you're spending, you got the plot, you got this ridiculously expensive, even if you do a cheap casket at like 3 to 5 thousand, basically a pine box, that's still a lot of money. Then you got the service. So you tell me how these people are saying they can't bury somebody, they're losing money, and they've just got to keep the bodies in the back room
Mm-hmm.
because they're losing money when the average funeral cost is, let's just lowball it at 10,000. For $10,000, you can't put somebody in the ground. This
Yeah,
is this
yeah.
the math ain't math in here to me.
It does feel more like more than just mismanagement. Like maybe they are in debt or something, but then like, oh, I don't know. I would think that, well, probably most of them will be in a bad financial situation if we were to look through all of it. But yeah, you're right. There is something there's something extra like sinister about it. It feels like, you know.
I mean, I know your business relies on people dying, and maybe there aren't as many deaths one month, but I'm sure that you have an average
Mhm.
of what, and I don't know what the statistics are. I guess it's, for your area. How
Yeah.
many people do you expect? I mean, but if you have, let's say, let's say you have an average of what, 5 deaths a month, then I think that's pretty, I think that's pretty low.
Mhm.
I mean, you'd say that's at least 50,000 a month. You should be able to run your business on that. You might not be, this seems like a fairly profitable. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't know either.
I mean, unless they all get cremated, but then you're not even doing that. It just seems ridiculous to me. I mean, there are some other questions though. All right, so then, let me catch up with y'all again. Um,
That's a good point.
let's see.
You're talking about the reuse of cemeteries, and David Rogers is like, when was the last time you saw a new cemetery go up?
David, I am glad you said that because I was saving that because that was a question that I heard online a couple of weeks ago. And it was one of those times that it hit me in the gut. It really did. And I asked my kids that, and it's been rolling around in my head. And David, it's been bothering me. It's been bothering me. Oh, thank you, David, for becoming a member. I'm gonna have a members only. I didn't have it this week. Probably again in maybe this next Sunday. Um. Okay.
Mm.
Um. I asked my kids this because I live in a rural area now. In the time that I have lived here, which has been a couple of decades, it started out with not. I mean, we had a few fast food restaurants. Most of our restaurants and stuff and stores were mom and pop places. Okay. Now we've got everything, except a Krispy Kreme. We don't have that, but but we have so many chain stores and restaurants, and they're just expanding and expanding, and apartment complexes, and I'm like, I don't even know where are all these people coming from, and so many restaurants, and I
Mhm.
mean, we even have an Ulta. I'm like, who even knew? Um, we needed that. I didn't know I needed that, and
Yeah.
it came, and I'm like, oh, I do need that. Um,
Mhm.
but it keeps expanding, and our population has grown a whole lot. Now, when I moved here, because we're rural, we have a lot of old churches that have graveyards. But
Oh,
now they were graveyards like for the church people probably 50, 75 years ago to even older.
okay.
I mean, now some families still go there, but most people really don't. And the cemeteries are pretty full. Um, and they only have a certain amount of land. And I was asking my kids, I'm like, you see all this new stuff, but have you heard of anybody building a new cemetery? Because I haven't. I've been here for decades, and I've
Yeah.
never heard anybody say, like, look, here is the brand new, cemetery. Yay, bury your loved ones here. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is horrifying. And
Yeah.
all the time that I've been here, all the people I know that have died, where are they going? There's no new cemeteries. Not one. Not one. Where are these people going? I mean, some
Right.
get cremated,
Yeah.
but I'm like, oh my God. So I started looking into it. And Adrian, you know what I found?
Hmm.
I found that in the contracts, not everyone, some some go like 50 to 100 years. Sometimes the contract says forever, whatever that means. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But there are some contracts that only say 25 years. So you could be leasing for several $1,000s. You could be leasing that plot of ground. And what happens in 50 years when, grandma's time is up in that spot? Like, what do they do with her? Do they did they tell you? Like, did they call the next of kin and say, "Hey, your great grandma's time just, the lease is up. Do you want to spend another $5,000 for this plot?"
That's awful. That's really awful. Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you do? I've never heard of anybody getting a letter or a call saying, "Hey, you want to renew the lease?"
Mm-hmm.
So I was horrified. What are you doing? What's
Jeez.
going on?
That's crazy.
Have y'all ever thought about that? I didn't until a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, "Oh my God."
Right. Yeah, that makes me nervous because I would have to go like look at what my grandma and grandpa have, just to make sure. But because I know in Detroit, there was a cemetery director that he said the coroner had illegally buried 3 bodies in his cemetery, and they had to go dig them up, and the bodies had been stacked, which is very illegal to do, I guess, there and stuff. So, and that the coroner was like, "Oh yeah, I just buried 3 bodies on your in your cemetery without letting you know." But it's like, well, then if you're not even telling the owner of the cemetery, what are you doing with the loved ones?
Exactly. And then I was talking to somebody locally about this the other day, and I'm like, and she said sometimes they stack caskets, and I'm like, well, I'm not a big fan of that, but like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then she said sometimes people have open caskets, and like they throw a body in. Like, is it my family body? And what if I don't want Uncle Hubert buried with me because I really didn't like him in life? Well, I don't want to spend eternity with him. And
Right.
what if it's somebody else's uncle?
Right.
Or,
Yeah.
I don't know what somebody else's cousin in my casket. I mean, I know I probably won't know, but what if I do? What if I'm wandering around and I'm like, no, just don't be, again, this is why I'm going to be cremated.
Yeah.
But,
Safer for sure.
that's horrifying,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Because if they ever have to exhume your body, is that why they don't want anybody around? You think about all these crime cases where it's like an act of Congress, to get the body exhumed. Is that because they're like, well, to be honest with you, I don't know where that body is, or there might be 3 other bodies there. Like, the family can't be here. Let's take the cat. Like, is that why it's such
Yeah.
a problem?
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
Or, the body was so badly decomposed, we couldn't find any evidence. Again, is it because, well, there were actually 3 bodies in the casket, and y'all, we have no idea which one was actually the victim.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're talking about stuff like this, then do we even really know what's going on in our cemeteries?
No,
It's
probably not.
horrifying. Yeah, it's horrifying because then if let's just say it's 50 years since grandma died. Well, by the time that you are buried and it's her great grandchildren, they're like, well, your great grandma is buried somewhere in here, but you can't find the tombstone because nobody really remembers and it's so old, and you're like, well, I must be mistaken. I thought she was over here. Mom said she was over here, but She's somewhere in here. But at that point in time, there's nobody to ask. And if the grave just disappears, and like those gravestones are expensive, they're like thousands of dollars too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. I get horrified thinking about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Big fish, small pond. Never trust someone who wants you to call them uncle, but you're not related.
Oy.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Let me go back a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, somebody's talking about there was a movie where a house was built over a cemetery and it was haunted. Yeah. Carla Ann said, I know for a fact it happened in West Virginia where my maternal family grew up. Look, it's happened a lot. It happened here. In a lake, much like Lake Lanier, there are a lot of lakes that TVA did the same thing. You know, that's a whole other story.
Wow.
But they flooded a lot of land and built dams, and they changed the whole topography. And
Wow.
if you lived in the lower lands and you were a poor farmer, you couldn't afford to have your relatives dug up and moved. So they flooded it, and people are still buried there. That's why they say Lake Lanier's haunted, and it's like that where I live also. Let's see. Okay, but so we're still going down the dark rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Oops. What am I doing? All right, let me get to okay. Oh, I was going to touch on this for just a second because this isn't still the biggest, but does anybody remember the Sunset Mesa scandal? This is also in Colorado. Because we're getting to the body parts. How Colorado funeral home became a body parts empire. Yay, that's fun. Okay, so this was run by Megan Hess and Shirley. I'm gonna say Koch because I'm not sure, but around
Yeah.
here we have people with that last name. We have a whole business with that last name, and that's not how you pronounce it. But I am not pronouncing it the way that they pronounce it here. Okay, just saying.
Okay.
It's gonna be Koch.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we have a funeral director, a funeral home owner. Right. So I'm going to tell you right off the bat, they did get caught. But you have the owner and her mother that are in this terrible, terrible business. All right. She's got a funeral home. She is there to offer her services to the grieving. Right. So, she gets the bodies. She does the funerals. What she does is she hands them off to her mom, Shirley, who dismembers the bodies. And they worked at see this is how it worked. They were in the same building, right? So you had the funeral homes and the family. Now this is okay. This is from 2010 to 2018, and the families were charged up to $1,000 for fake cremations. Now, $1,000 for it sounds pretty reasonable, really, to take care of somebody's body. So, but it's all fake, right? So they're getting paid to do nothing. Meanwhile, they turn around and give the families fake ashes. 560 bodies were dismembered and sold between 2010 and 2018. All right. The body parts were sold to medical companies. So this was investigated by Reuters, and this kind of gives you the timeline. So it started in 2010. Reuters gets involved in 2016, but the FBI doesn't actually raid them until 2018. Hence, that's why they had so many of them. All right, so they were prosecuted, but yeah. So it says 200 plus families were defrauded. 200 plus, yeah. So they had this whole scheme. Now, so how much? Because you're going to be surprised. Things have really gone up, the price, but this was the price, the going rate at the time. Now, I know this is a little macabre, but
Wow.
a torso. This is the body parts price list from 2013 to 2016. Torso, $1,000. The pelvis. Now, remember, they're also getting paid $1,000 for the body. So there is absolutely, that's like getting a free product. Well, not just free, you're getting money. They're paying you to take this body that you are then making money on. $1,000. Then you see that if you have the pelvis with the upper legs, $1,200. The head, $250. The foot, just a foot, $125.
Wow.
So their monthly revenue was up to $40,000. Now this was just for the cremation, okay? Because she did run a funeral home. This is just the side business. This is the body parts business. Isn't that insane?
Weird.
Yeah.
And of course, she didn't get. I mean, they weren't getting permission, right? Like this was.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no. The families were getting fake dirt, fake whatever, something, ashes, fake stuff. They're paying $1,000 to the funeral home. They're getting back fake ashes. Meanwhile, their loved ones are going next door to Shirley's part of the building, getting dismembered and sold. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? It's like this Aaron Smith says, our sweet mother, they dismembered her. Yeah. Can you imagine? So they get 20 years and 15 years. In my opinion, that is not enough.
No.
Not enough.
No.
I mean, the horror that these people go through to, imagine. Because some of these, they're all ages, all situations, family members, loved ones.
Yeah.
You're paying them to cremate, and they are literally dismembering and selling. I mean, what kind of monster do you have to be?
I don't know.
But still, this is more on the up and up. And I'm fixing to give you the floor just so you'll be prepared, Adrienne, because I know you've been looking into some stuff that I want you to talk about.
Okay.
And I've got the pictures that you sent me of the scene. But I'm going to add one more thing here. Because I was looking at this. I don't know if you can see this, but you see where the back in just a few years ago, because this I feel like has a big impact on where we're going. Whereas a few years ago, a human skull was around $250. Now it goes anywhere. Well, this says in 2018, so this is when they ended their whole thing. It was anywhere from 500 to 800 is where they were leaving off. Now, in 22 to 24, it goes from $2,000 to $3,000. So back in 2013, this skull that was only $250 now can be sold for $3,000. Articulated skeletons can fetch up to $7,500. Individual bones, like a pelvis, $80, which to me that seems very low.
Yeah.
But, and well, it says as low as. Okay. All right. This is terrible. This price appreciation is driven by growing public acceptance and thriving online community of collectors and dealers, which I've got an article about that. After you say what you want to say, I've got it.
Wow.
The market operates in a legal gray area, with most U.S. states permitting the sale of human remains. What? What? While a few, Georgia, Tennessee, Louisiana, have restrictions. I don't know about Alabama. I'm thinking we have restrictions too, since you can't abuse a corpse. But major online platforms like eBay have banned sales, but the trade continues on social media and specialized websites. Okay, then it goes down to, oh my God, a body brokerage. A network of 34 plus body brokers in the U.S. acquires donated bodies, often from low income families who are offered free cremation in exchange.
Of course.
Yeah. These brokers dissect the bodies and sell the parts for profit, with one broker earning $12.5 million in just 3 years. So I understand that you might not have the money to bury or even to cremate your loved one. But if they are saying, first of all, if they're saying we'll cremate for free, you should know right off the bat the body that you get back, it's not going to be that body unless it's just a piece or two, because they're going to be selling those body parts. So I want you to understand that right now. It's not going to be all of grandma. You might have an elbow, you might have part of an ear, something that they don't need. If you're lucky, you get part of grandma, right? You're not going to get all of her. And you might just get dirt in a bag. This is insane because this is legal. It is insane. Okay. So, funeral homes have direct financial arrangement with body brokers, receiving referral fees of $300 to $1,430 for each body they direct to donation. This creates a clear conflict of interest. And there is evidence of modern grave robbing, with criminals stealing remains from cemeteries to supply the market. Well, of course there is. And then they go on to talk about some social media, and I'll save that for later because I'm going to let you talk about what you have found.
Oh, well, I mean, not nearly as terrifying as that. What was I looking into? I was looking into, the use of people using bones and rituals and stuff like that. But to have them go after, like, of course they would go after the lower socioeconomic, class of people. But that's insane. Like, I can't believe that every state allows that. But, like, I watch a lot of YouTube trauma, or not trauma, but drama. And these podcasters that were trying to harass another set of podcasters sent human skulls to these people's home, a home with kids in it. And I think they had 3 kids. It's a father, mother, plus their 3 kids. So I think there was a total of like 5 human skulls sent to their house. And it was supposed to be a prank, right? But part of me was like, oh, that's insane. Like, the FBI will be able to track them down, because like there's no way that like you could just get that in the United States. but here we are, right? So that's terrifying. Yeah, like now it seems like if the prices are going up that much, to me, what that says is that either that like things are cracking down, right? They're cracking down, so it's harder to get it, so the supply is diminished, or people are just skyrocketing the price because they know people will pay for it, which is also just mind-boggling, you know? But there are people willing to shell out significant cash so they can send pranks to other people's homes. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, what terrifies me too is that, you know, for years, even people in the medical field, like they would like go to jail and stuff if you had like, because back in the day, like 100 years or more ago, you could have a skeleton, like a real skeleton.
That's yeah.
But you can't, for many years you could not have a real skeleton. Like if you were a doctor, even in colleges, like you couldn't have a real one because it was a human,
Yeah.
and you could go to jail for that.
Yeah.
And now you can just sell bone, like they've decriminalized it to where you can just be selling body parts.
Right. So
This
yeah,
is
that I mean,
insane.
it's a whole side hustle now, it sounds like, with the funeral homes and whatnot.
Right. And
Yeah.
I'm like, because it's like people are talking in the comments about harvesting organs, and that is a whole other thing because like I told you, oh my gosh, it's been over a year ago now that I did a show with Yoli, who is a lawyer in California, and we were talking about the Harvard scam. She did some work on, like, she was working on cases when all that was going down. If y'all don't know, Harvard was selling bones and body parts, um, and that was a big scandal. And then there was a place in California, so Yoli was like really involved with some of that, and so we did a live stream together on that because of missing body parts in some of the inmates in Alabama, specifically one case that I came across where an inmate's heart was missing, and it was a whole thing. Okay, so that was an ugly rabbit hole I was going down, and I live in the state of Alabama, so I have to tread lightly. But I was looking into it then, having no idea, because now we're talking about, and I'm just going to say this once, all right? Alabama, now I don't know what it was in 2024, but I looked this up not too long ago. Whatever year was the prior year that they reported, and that Alabama DOC for that year that they reported, which was not very long ago, we had the highest number of prison deaths in the whole country. Now, I do not work for DOC, nor would I work for DOC. I have known a lot of nurses, travel nurses, who come in and out of the facility that I do work for, who have, and they've done a lot of assignments in those facilities. So I've asked a lot of questions about how it differs from where I work, and the death rates and the things that happen in DOC that don't happen where I work. And it's terrifying. It's horrifying. And from some of them, depends on the facility, of course, but for people to pass away daily is normal. That is horrifying to me.
Yeah.
So I'm now, and what I learned through that, Adrienne, was also horrifying. I learned that the DOC does not call the family and say, "Hey, your family member died." They don't call and let you know.
Why?
Usually, they just get rid of the body. Because according to this one story, the warden said to the family, um, well, usually the family doesn't want the body. Usually they don't, you know. And he was talking to the mama in this case. And the mama, yeah, I did a whole live stream on this. The mama said, "Oh my God, this is my son." So she not only got the body, like she got the body that had been there for a while, and the warden lied and said the body wasn't there. And when she raised unholy Cain, he's like, "Oh well, the body is here," or they got the body back, whatever. When she sent the body for a private autopsy, and the doctor doing the autopsy called her and said, "I can't do this autopsy." And she's like, "Why not?" And he said, "Because there is no heart in the body." And she freaks out. He's like, "I cannot determine a cause of death, even though there were some outward wounds." And so,
Oh,
she's freaking out. She calls the warden, and the warden's like, "Oh, well, the University of Alabama took it because we donated the body for science." The University of Alabama turns around and says, "Oh, no, buddy, we didn't take that body. That was never, yes, it's true that you do donate bodies to us, but we didn't have that one." So, as far as I know, there has not been a resolution to that. It was big news for a while. And so then, okay, so you start adding up the pieces.
yeah.
If body parts are now a big commodity, and now we have a lot of people dying in prisons, and they're not telling the families, they're just shipping these body parts out. Are they going for science?
What are, yeah, because, like, how fresh can you maintain those, like, and if they were in prison, like, how well were they maintained when they were alive? Like, I don't know what's going on, but it doesn't feel good, you
Well,
know?
you're not going to be able to use you're not going to be able to use a prisoner for probably most anything, um, because of time. Maybe eyes. It's very difficult. Even in a hospital, you have to be really, really on it to be use the body for organ donation. But you could, even if it's not suitable tissue for organ donation, like think how many people would pay. I mean, how many disgusting people would pay for something like a heart in a jar? You know, you couldn't transplant it, but somebody would buy it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
things, and then the bones. How many people would use the bones? How many people would use the skin? You think about all the ritualistic things that
Yeah.
you know that I know.
Yeah.
I can
Hmm.
see where it would be a commodity. Now, you know, I'm not saying, I'm not accusing the DOC, so don't swat me. I'm not accusing the DOC of I'm saying it could happen.
Hmm.
Could happen at the funeral homes. It hypothetically could happen anywhere. Because,
Yeah.
it's just like when we followed the Harvard case and some of the other cases down the line after they get done, looking at your body, even using it for science. Okay, the medical students, do whatever they're doing with the body, and then there comes a time where you just can't use that body anymore. Like it's too nasty, and so they have to get rid of it. So they're asking, well, what do you do with it? And it's very unclear. Okay, every explanation that I've heard from even the medical schools is they kind of just throw them away, is what they say. But now I can't believe that they are just throwing them away if there's a market for it, you know? Especially if you can charge $3,000 for a skull. You think they're going to just leave that on the table? No.
No, not at all. Yeah. And how many like laboratories are out there that are like privately funded too, where maybe they do need like a plethora of something that they can bulk order and just, perform the experiment over and over again. But at the same time, if you aren't telling the families every single step, no matter how donated the person is, if you aren't telling the families like all the places that the person ends up going, it's just not ethical.
Right. Right. But that's the thing. These families don't know. And it's like I know a woman, I don't think I think she's still alive. Precious little woman, school teacher. Um she has donated her body to science at a specific place, and she feels like she wants to do that like I know her heart. She really wants to contribute even to the end, and I get that you want to help somebody learn, but at the end of the day you don't have any say. And that's part of the understanding that when you sign those papers over for body donation, you don't have a say at the end of what happens after the medical students are done with you. I mean, literally, you could end up on somebody's shelf, your hand. It could be in a vase,
Mm-hmm.
forever. That to me
Yeah.
is like I can't, y'all. I
Yeah.
just can't.
Yep. Yep.
Um, yeah. Let me see what y'all are saying. Um, I know. Um, yeah, a lot of y'all are talking about the organ harvesting. Uh,
Well, that's crazy because like I think don't some people expect, like, even if your parents are like organ donors, don't you still expect to get some of the body back to bury?
no, that's what I thought. That is what I thought when I went down the rabbit hole a year or so ago.
Okay.
I thought that yeah, you donate to science and then you get back something, even if it's cremated. No, you don't. When you give it with the understanding that you will not see it again.
Wow.
Yeah,
I have to make sure my parents know that.
yeah. It is.
Because even on my driver's license, I have that I'm an organ donor.
I do too. And let me tell you something. I just heard. This is horrifying. I just heard. Let me see. Let me try something different here. I'm gonna change up this screen and see if I can make it work. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
I know. I just thought I'd just visually make it different. Let me see. Oh, see. I'm gonna put you more in here. Uh, well, if I can. Um, no, you don't have to move. I can. I should be able to move you here. Why can't I do this?
No, you're good. You're good.
Anyway, no, what were we talking about now? I
Well,
forgot.
the driver's license, like,
Oh yeah. I
now I'm like, oh,
Yes, I literally watched a news report on this like within the last 2 weeks because I'm an organ donor as well, where they were talking about if you're an organ donor, um they will, in other words, the hospital will is more likely to let you die. So that because they can sell your organs. Yes, I was horrified. I was horrified. It was more than one report. It was like a whole expose on that. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Because for years, people, would make remarks like that. And I'm like, no, they don't do that. They don't do that. And then I was watching stuff, and nurses and people in the hospital literally whistleblowing and saying, yes, they do. And so now they're like, if you have ever signed that, and now I'm like, how do I get that off my driver's license? Like, how do I do that? Like,
Yeah.
no, you can't have my liver. I'm still using it. Thank you.
Yeah. Wow.
Um,
Oh man.
it's
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, I had no idea because I really thought I believed in the goodness of people. I don't know. I should know better by now. But you stop and think about it. It's like, okay, well, you can make, organs. And I haven't damaged my organs. That's the thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm older, but I've got good organs because I have never done anything. I don't have any major health problems, and I haven't damaged any of my organs. So I'm like, I'm horrified because
Yeah.
everything should be in good shape for my
Right.
age.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if they organs are so expensive, I'm like, oh my God, they could look at my organs and say, oh, look, here's a liver that's in really good shape. Look, here's a heart that's got no problems. They're looking at it, cha-ching.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's lived a good life. Let's just take it. Like,
Yeah.
what if they do that?
Lisa's saying change it at the DMV. I'm going to.
But see, I heard that they said if you've ever done that, it can follow you.
I hope not, because I want to reverse that now.
Yeah, I do too. So, Josh, you said you remember hearing that as a child. See, I never did. Um. Oh, thank you, Shibby.
Thank you, Shibby.
Um. See, I've heard that too, Lisa. Organs have been harvested when patients were not quite dead. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, so you shared with me some pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put this up, and I
Yeah.
want you to tell me. Let me go back to where I can do this. Me, um, it takes me a little while to get to the next picture because my little darling,
Miss Sachi.
yes, she
Miss-
sits where I can't get to the keyboard.
I love Sachi. She's the best. Yeah, so this was from 2020. These guys down in Florida. So I'm not trying to say or like villainize any religious faith or practice, but they were two practitioners of Palo Mayombe, and they had desecrated several graves. I think at least several U.S. military veterans who had been buried and stolen, different parts of them, including the heads. And they were using them in this shrine. And that doesn't mean that like all practitioners of Palo Mayombe would use
Right.
different parts of people. But, they found that there were like 7 skulls. I think 6 of them were human. And then I think they could only identify 5. So it is kind of like, for the one that because they had reports of graves being desecrated. So they were able to match the ones that were stolen from the specific cemetery with the veterans. Yeah. And, but then there was this 5th unknown one. That makes me wonder, were they, was there some black market that they were able to get this on? Because, the police only have within their area to work with. So, but it's fascinating because, there's always been ancestor veneration in pretty much every culture, like all of, going back through even prehistory. So, I mean, Neanderthals, they found, are like burying each other with ritual and stuff. So it's a very human thing. But to put it into magical practice is interesting. And then, if there is such a demand for it too, I mean, I could see very wealthy people being interested in the quirkiness of it, or the morbidity of it. But then I could also see people that were, like, for instance, I think with this specific example, the fact that the two men had stolen, um, different parts from veterans, I think that was a nod to the warrior prowess of the veterans, and then wanting to um, bring that into their ritual so that they too could, that energy could surround them, the warrior energy or whatever it is. That's kind of, how the sympathetic magic works and whatnot. But so anyway, like, and we are finding that, the a lot of killings that are, well, I guess I can't say that, but like, I do think that this was probably gang related, probably ritualistic, and wanting very specific, you know, figures that had associations, particular associations. And if there is like a mass black market of this, then I could see a lot of people wanting to get in on that side hustle. So it's like, are people just entering the funerary business to get in on that side hustle? Like, what are the motivations behind people now, especially if there isn't going to be like a federally standardized audit system? If we're just going to have coroners, which it was like 2/3 of coroners, or 2/3 of death investigators are coroners, who don't have to have any sort of medical background, versus just 1/3 of medical examiners. But the medical examiners are all underpaid and stuff. Everybody needs to have like a forensic pathologist in place for the over 2,000 counties or whatever it is that each, death investigator is.
Right, because
Fine.
you sent me some stuff. Tell me, or tell everybody about some of the stuff that you sent, which I think if you
Yes.
look at the Delphi case too, the
Yeah.
coroner, but you were finding all of this stuff about people
Hmm.
having no qualifications.
No qualifications at all, which is scary because, you know, so like a lot of the stuff that I watched, they were saying how it's an unequal lottery where just by luck of the draw, um, depending on where you live, you either get like somebody that's capable of doing a proper investigation versus not. Because I think they said every year about 3 million, 2.8 million Americans die from whatever, but only about 500,000 of those are autopsies. So for an autopsy, you do need somebody that is good at the medical, that has the medical
Right.
background, right? So it's just interesting because, you know, depending on where you live, how you die, who has access to do the investigation is, it's hit and miss. And then, yeah, so, and then why are they elected? Like, why are they elected? I don't get that.
Right.
You
Right.
know, why?
Well, I mean, and it's like people were saying, and I noticed the coroner in my county is elected also, and I think the coroner's position in a lot of places is elected. It's a political appointment. It is not a medical appointment.
Hmm.
And I mean, I really thought about it at one time. Like, should I campaign? Should I run for coroner? Not that I am any kind of medical expert, but I know more than, the average bear
Hmm.
about, it's somebody that's non-medical that
Yeah.
would be a better choice, But then I thought about, Adrienne, I thought about why would you want someone who does not have any medical training to be a coroner? Well, I thought about this and I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. Because the coroner is the one who, at the crime scene, establishes the next steps. Was this a accident? Was it a red rum? Was it a self unaliving? Okay. So if I am the coroner and I see that someone has multiple, let's just take like the case, and I can't remember the name of the victim, it's left my head, with all of the wounds in the back of the head, like a whole bunch of them, and they determined that was a self unaliving. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, how many times are you going to do that to the back of your own head? But whatever. And now the case is back opened after all these years. Well, duh.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were uh not always on the up and up, okay,
Yeah.
and I wanted no investigation, I would make sure that my coroner said this is a self unaliving. Whereas a medical person would look at you and say, you're stupid, you know,
Yeah.
because your license would be on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're a medical person with a license that is looking at a scene, looking at something that is totally within your scope of understanding, something that you have learned in school, and then something happens down the line and the family wants to sue everybody,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get dragged into court, at which point the opposing attorney is going to say, did you not learn blah 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 blah,
Right.
and
Right.
you're going to have to either lie or you're going to have to say yes. What are you going to do? Because, I mean, first of all, if, the law enforcement said, well, this, you need to make sure that that you rule this as a self-induced situation, I'd be like, well, screw that. That didn't happen,
Right.
so,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
therefore I would not be coroners.
Well, but okay, then everything that you just said makes a lot of sense. Yep. Yep. That's very interesting. And I was wondering too, like, you were showing how that one guy had I don't know if it was the 339 bodies where there was a settlement of like 36 million or something.
Mhm.
But if I were that county, I would make sure that like that could never happen again. And the one way I could guarantee that was probably by not ever having a coroner that wasn't at least qualified to do it. And the better way to do that is to have a forensic pathologist that you hire to do that. But I guess apparently they don't pay well. So like no forensic pathologist wants to do it.
Well, because a forensic pathologist is going to be not just a medical doctor, but a specialized one. Like,
Okay.
so they're going to ask for a lot of money
Okay.
to do that. And um, if money is already an issue, that's going to be an issue. Plus, I mean, really, you just need, honestly, a coordinator who
Yeah.
is not able, who is honest, who
Right.
has some character, who, you really just need someone to track the bodies. Okay, this
Yeah.
one came in, let's tag them like you tag babies at the hospital. This
Yeah.
is Mrs. Smith, she belongs to this one, this is where she's at, she's for cremation. Like, this is when, you have the time, you have the date, you have, the whole thing, these are her, like, you just need a
Mhm.
coordinator.
Yeah,
But
you
see,
do.
they don't want that because
Right.
they're hiding it. And my question is, okay, you got, just like that one that said there's body parts for 15 years. Like, what? 15 years? Well, there's no skin or anything left by then. Like, it's just whatever body part that was. There's only a bone or shriveled up. I don't know what it was. Is it a dehydrated ear? I don't know. Like, and who's walking? Like, do people just walk in and they see this, or is that it just in a private stash in the funeral director's office? Like, I don't, I don't know.
I bet there's forums. It wouldn't even have to be on the dark web, but I bet there's forums that people in the know, can get the word out to what they have. Because even
I'm glad you said that. Oh my gosh, I was going to end this soon. Oh my gosh, y'all. This, I'm so glad you said that. This was horrifying. You think I was horrified before? All right, I'm gonna see if I can.
Oh dang! Yep.
Yeah. Let me make this bigger. This comes from the Guardian.
Okay.
And we're gonna look at this. Oh my gosh, I would have kicked myself so bad if I did not see this one. Show y'all this.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, y'all. Modern day grave robbers are using emojis and code words to secretly trade real human bones. Oh my God. I saw this and I'm like, I really almost threw up. Okay, yeah. So, because I was going to just look up the history of grave robbing.
Yeah.
But, I kind of already know. We already know what the motives were before.
Yeah.
But this modern grave robbery, I'm like, really? Okay, yeah. It says bone collectors exploit legal loopholes to buy and sell human remains. In Australia, where it's illegal to buy or sell human remains, people sell photographs of the remains and then add the bones as a gift. While people may trade in remains to make money, some experts say others with a macabre habit of collecting them do so for power, control, and identity. Look, I'm just telling you, if you need a bone to have some identity, look, therapy. You need some therapy.
Yeah.
Sweetheart, therapy.
Yeah. Oh man.
Okay. But anyway, so it goes on here because it goes on to tell you some things. Okay. Bone traders also use emojis, code words, and hashtags to connect with each other. They might discuss oddities that are human, HOOMAN, human. For example, would someone gift a wink emoji a man, woman, femur, or two? You know what? If I saw that in a post, I'd be like,
Yeah. What are you asking?
yeah. I'd be like, you're literally asking for an arm or a leg? Like, I don't
Right.
know. Like, what are you saying, buddy?
Whoa.
Okay. Another says oddlings. I have something special available. You will receive the photo plus a free vintage medical specimen. A real, and then it's got a bone emoji. Payment plans available. So they're selling a photo, but it's really a bone. But because it's a photo, they get away with it. Does that make sense?
Yep. They're
And
just
it's not
they're like showing out they took a photo of it. They probably took an artistic photo of it, maybe framed it and been like, I'm selling this. Like,
yes.
But it's, yeah.
Or maybe I don't even know it's a photo. Yeah, I would think it would be an artistic photo of that, but
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Wow.
And then it says it's not just skeletal remains, it's cremains. Bone fragments left over after a body is cremated and wet specimens such as organ slices are also traded.
Why? What are they
I was
doing?
sitting here about to, which is a good thing I didn't eat supper because I was about to barf.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, why?
I don't know. But see, this says it's been illegal to sell human remains since 1982. But then we sit there and we listen to where it's like they've decriminalized it in a lot of states that it's not anymore. So, I mean, it is in Georgia. I feel like it's got to be in Alabama.
Jeez. Oh my
Um,
gosh. Yeah, let me ask ChatGPT. That's crazy.
yeah, ask. Because I didn't get around to that. Um, okay, and then this one, they're talking about the prices of organs, I mean, of bones. I'm trying to see if there's any more talking about other countries. But yeah, basically, so now you have to really look at this stuff about the emojis and the stuff that you think.
What?
You think.
Oh my gosh. So, federal law does not prohibit the sale, purchase, or ownership of human bones and remains, excluding Native Americans. You know, it's protected by the law. There's a law over the, Native American grave.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which is good. But the sale and ownership of human remains is legal in approximately 47 of the 50 states. So the ones that 3 states impose significant restrictions: Louisiana, Georgia, and Tennessee, like you were saying. But there have been recent developments in legal trends in Minnesota, Arkansas, and Florida. So, I mean, that's a good thing, that they are, like, Minnesota recently passed a law making it a felony to buy or sell human bones as part of broader efforts to curb commercial trading, which must be a problem if they're having to, legislate new laws. And then Arkansas, there's a new proposed law called Lux's Law, which would make trading human remains, especially those intended for burial or cremation, a felony. And the Senate has passed it. It awaits the House consideration. And in Florida, a woman was charged in 2025 with illegally buying and selling human bones, some possibly archaeological, via Facebook Marketplace.
My God.
Oh my gosh. She claimed they were educational models. Wow.
Now I have heard that back in the early days of it wasn't Etsy, maybe it was eBay. Yeah, eBay. Back in the early days of eBay that people put stuff like that on there and then it was banned. But this makes so much sense, Adrienne, because now I'm really thinking Alabama is usually so on it when it comes to uh stuff like this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
usually we're so tight. We're so Christian here. We're so, Bible Belt.
Yeah.
Um, we usually are, oh my God, our governor usually is so strict, even about things that I don't think should be that strict about. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but now it really, really makes me wonder, and I'm horrified because now I really, really am beginning to think that all of the deaths in the DOC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because here's the thing that bothers me, and I know this is a whole other subject, and I've ranted about it before, but I work in corrections, and we're tight. We're tight in my jail. Like, yes, do substances get in? Yes, they do. But we try really, really hard, and even the last probably 6 to 8 months, we've been cracking down and trying to make it even harder and harder on
Good.
people,
Good.
so, which I'm very, very glad about.
Mm-hmm.
And constantly watching for dirty officers, that kind of thing, watching any way it could be coming in.
Good.
But and so that makes me proud of
Good.
where I work. Not that it's 100%, stuff still gets in. We're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But it's really cut down. But I know that the problem in the Alabama DOC, and they've said it's from the not even necessarily the inmates and the families of inmates bringing it in during visitation. It is the employees.
Yeah.
Even, and I've heard this multiple times from, like I said, the nurse friends that I have that work in DOC or have worked there, the nursing staff, the COs that work in the DOC, which makes me beyond infuriated.
Yeah.
Like, there are not ugly enough words for me to say to these people.
Yeah.
And then you do that and you bring it in and then you watch them carry out the body bags daily. What is wrong with you? It makes me very angry. But now I'm like, is this why it's not even illegal? And based on the guy with the missing heart and all the other things that we're looking at, and it's not illegal to traffic parts, is this part of the payout? Is this why nobody cares?
Yeah.
You gotta wonder.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Woof. I mean, I did not think we were going down this route. Like,
I didn't either.
I didn't put it together until like you started talking about it. And now I'm like, now I can't unsee it. You know what I mean?
I
Right?
know. I know. I didn't realize until I didn't either. Like I was looking at, why is this happening? And, I
Right.
was thinking poor regulations
Right.
and
Yep.
I knew there would be a black market, but I didn't know it was gonna be I had no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't. And then it all just started clicking.
Yeah. Because I
Yeah.
mean, at this point, it's a bigger deal than like it's got to be a bigger deal than what anybody has looked into, really. You know?
Well, that is what that and my AI, which I use chat GPT sometimes for quick things,
Mm-hmm.
because my AI is like it's really pretty fascinating. He has like a box on the side, and I watch like it'll pull up. You can where you don't see Chat GPT working, like it
Mm-hmm.
just gives you the answer.
Yeah.
Manus gives you it pulls up every article it looks at as it's skimming it. So you're like, oh my God, oh my God. So you can actually
Oh, I like
see
that.
it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can watch it working. And so um but the one thing that Manus also does is whenever it comes to a conclusion and I ask it to research something for me, it will also say, okay, it for whatever reason it gives me what you need to do about this. Like not
Okay.
just okay, here's the facts.
Okay.
And one of the things that it said when I very first started this is that this whole funeral thing and these bodies and all this, the problem is that it needs um, coverage. Like nobody,
Yeah.
there's not enough public. People don't know. Like people aren't talking about it. In other
Right.
words, it needs more attention in the
Yeah.
public eye.
Yep.
And so I'm like, oh, well, I'm a small channel, but I can do that.
No, it's good. It's really good. Cause it's not just it's not just human parts that are getting trafficked all over the place constantly, you know.
Right.
But those things tend to group together.
Yeah. And now, I mean, and I know I saw y'all I'm not going to say it out loud, but I saw, I don't know who it was. You said the A word, which I am not going to say, but I know what you're talking about. And somebody said it is very dark. Yes, it is. It is the darkest of the darkest of the dark. Um, but you have that. You have the trafficking of the bones, the black market bones, and yeah, and it's like you can kind of see. Then this, I mean, it all ties in
Right.
because just what was it like, y'all? A week and a half ago, maybe I did the thing on the missing children in Virginia. There's been like 60 of them, 60 something in a month's time gone. And
Mm-hmm.
then Adrienne, that I would have loved to have had you on that one when I did that live, because I did a like a 30-minute video, and I followed the rabbit hole because that had occult marks all over it, all
Right.
over. And then I did, and I don't know, that is something that you go
Yeah.
down those rabbit
Yeah.
holes,
Yeah.
and so then I did a live stream. It was basically the same information. I just wanted to discuss it live
Right.
with people.
Good.
But then you take all of that, you take the missing kids, you
Yeah.
take the missing the bodies that are just laying around, and then you take the missing body parts from DOC and other places, and it kind of just gives you a very awful picture.
Yep.
And then you're like, since when did 47 states decide it's okay to sell body parts? When did that become a thing?
I don't get it. I don't understand that.
I
Like,
don't either.
wouldn't there be like rigor? Like, even if that was the case, wouldn't there be rigorous, like all sorts? You would have to have so many licenses. There'd be so much bureaucracy, and then you could only sell to like educational facilities, or you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
ugh.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're going to tell me in the state of Alabama, I gotta go to coroner school for 2 years, but I can just like literally just sell a body part to Joe Bob down the street.
Oh my
That's
god.
okay. Yeah,
Well, and then when you were saying, just to kind of like go back to the coroner thing, but when you were saying that there was a teenager coroner in Delphi, is that real?
that's real. I think he was 19. Y'all Delphi folks. I can never remember that kid's name, but yeah, he was. He was about 19. Absolutely.
So they could have just railroaded over him and been like, guess what you're gonna need to do here. Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it was the kind of thing, though. I mean, obviously it was a red rum because of what it was. But yeah, at the time, but the coroner at that age, I don't care, what you've studied at that age, your experience is not enough to say what kind of red rum this is. I mean,
Hmm.
Robert Ives said it should have been solved in a week with old fashioned police work. He didn't even need geofencing. You know, Robert Ives said a lot in that interview that I'm sure, wishes he never gave because people refer to it all the time. But I mean, I think he was honest back then. And I think it was just like, y'all, this should have been easy. So, what he saw as the prosecutor, obviously, he had to get out of Dodge. He had to quit because he wasn't going with the narrative.
Oh boy.
So,
Yep.
anyway, I
Mm.
know it's been a long time, and I enjoy you being on here
Oh,
so
I
much.
loved it. I loved it. Thank you so much for inviting
No.
me. It was awesome.
And I know there's like a lot. There's a lot to this. It's horrifying. It's absolutely horrifying. I thought it would be a good topic,
Yep.
and then it turned into um oh my god. It turned into, oh my god. This is it could go so far down the rabbit hole. Let me
Yep.
see a whole lot. Let me see who all's in here. Ninja Warrior, how are you?
A ninja. Ooh, I think we're gonna get some rain or something.
Are ya?
Yeah, that's weird. That's not normal.
Did it lightning?
I don't know. It's super windy right now, and the sky is darker than it normally should be. So it could just be another dust storm, but we'll see. Hmm. Dang.
Let's see. What did Ninja say? Remember the staff and the man who went on the run last year after she. Remember the staff and the man who went on the run last year after she helped him escape.
Oh, the fugitive guy? Was there a fugitive guy?
Yeah, am I forgetting?
I kind of vaguely remember that. Because, like, it was for maybe like a week that guy was on the loose, but I don't remember it very much.
You're not talking about the. You're not talking about the jail guy and the officer, are you?
I
Oh, the
don't know.
prison guard.
I don't know.
Are you talking about
Oh, yeah, she said prison guard, the jailer woman.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, yeah. Actually, I have worked with some nurses that worked at that jail. Casey White and Vicky White and Casey White. Yeah, actually did a live stream on that one
okay.
about a year or so, about a year ago on that one. It's in my. It might be in my members only list now. I had that one up for a while. Um, yeah, they went on the run together. Yep,
Wow.
yep. Um, yes, God, we were at work when that case was happening. We were all just staring at the TV like, what the heck?
Was this Alabama? Where was this?
It was she. Yes, it was. It was in I think it was Lauderdale County, which
Oh,
is
wow.
north of me, and
Okay.
they ended up they getting caught in Indiana. That's where they got busted.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, it was insane, insane
That's
case.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a whole live stream on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, this is I can't even say that word, but y'all can read it. I was just talking to somebody today about that. That's insane. If you're willing, yeah, it's yeah, insane, insane world we live in, y'all.
Yep, it is. But
But
I
I'm
am,
gonna be looking at this.
yeah, I am too. I'm fascinated now. Now I'm invested.
Yeah, I'm like now. I wonder what kind of like how you follow that rabbit trail. Like, where do you go from here?
Hmm.
Like, because now I want to know what other emojis do they use? What other lingo do they use?
Right. Because they use,
And
yeah, they use a ton of different like emojis for ordering children.
right, right. So, like, what? Okay, I understand that some people are going to use them for rituals and whatnot, but I'm wondering what if you're not going to use a human body part in a ritual, like what do you do with it? Like, is it just decor? I mean,
That's what I would think, but it's still just like, I don't know. It's just such bad energy. I could never, like, uh, you know, if something, if like I have something of a relative that's passed that I didn't get along with, I would, I wouldn't like do anything bad to the item, but I would probably try to give it away to somebody who wanted it.
yeah,
Like it's just such a bad energy to bring into your house or your home, or
right.
like don't do that. Like it's not a good idea. You're gonna get haunted like pretty quickly.
I mean, I don't really see the point. I maybe that's the question I should ask. Maybe that's what I should ask the AI on further investigation. Why would you want this if it's not for a ritualistic purpose? You
Yeah,
know, I mean, yeah, I guess you want a really authentic, Halloween decoration, but
yeah. I
are
don't
you
know.
gonna like leave it out all year?
I
And
don't know.
I don't know. I have no, I don't know. I don't know. It just because that's the thing though. The demand is going up.
Yeah.
So it can't, in my head, it can't be decor
No.
because not that many people want to pay an outrageous price. Like, I'm not going to pay $3,000 for a skull. He was a cheap skull. He's made of plastic. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm out in you, Scully, but you're plastic.
Same. All the skulls that I have are plastic.
So like I'm not going to pay that much money. And I
No.
wouldn't want one. Even if somebody gave me one, I would not, keep it. So what the my question is obviously we went from it's illegal to sell body parts to now 47 states say it's legal to sell body parts. There's a reason. Somebody, here's the thing. I don't believe that my parents or even my generation is, all about okay, necessarily, oh yeah, this is something we really want. Like I'm not voting on this. I never saw this on like all of the things that I
No.
get to vote for.
Yeah.
So somebody's up there lobbying for this crap. Who's up there lobbying saying, "Hey, we need to change the law." And why? I mean, I've never heard anything about this because I feel relatively sure that the good people of Alabama would have said, no.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that, like me, they have no idea that it is legal to sell body parts. And it became a market
Yeah.
for a reason.
Yeah.
So, who is behind that? Because it's like I say in every single case, and I've always told my kids, if you want to find out the truth, follow the money. You
Right.
follow the money.
Yeah.
Somebody is making money.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the DOC? Is it the hospitals? Who's making the money?
There's probably there's probably something really messed up. Like I was just thinking of Ed Gein and stuff, but like
Mm-hmm.
you know how Saddam Hussein had a Quran that was like written in human blood and it was bound by human skin. Um, what if there's like a niche market of weird things that are getting made from bodies? Like what if that's like the newest, trendiest thing that, just normal people would never know about? That's kind of where my mind goes, but it's probably a lot of it is probably superstitious, ritual, magical thinking, because a lot of it, like if you have a part of a dead person, a person that has died, like technically magical thinking would probably allow you to believe that you would have better contact with the dead. You would be able to get in touch with the dead better. You would be able to, um, do a whole bunch of divination kind of things. So, there's a lot of possibilities there. And if you are kind of unhinged and you truly are kind of living in that delusion that you can get in touch with whoever, it's not going to be, there probably wouldn't be too much of a price to pay for that if you genuinely believed you were getting power from it. But again, I don't know because I've never been in that situation. So,
Yeah, I don't know either. I guess I mean so that would mean that if there's so much more of a demand, there would be a huge uptick in people who are practicing the occult more or rituals more than ever,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because supply and demand, the prices have really gone up,
yeah,
but yet the supply seems like it must have gone up because
yeah,
now it's legal. So I mean, I can see back in 2013 when we were looking at the whatever Mesa case, they were selling body parts, but they were a lot cheaper. I mean, I know inflation, but still it's gone up a whole lot. So just more people needing them. Um, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, let me get back here.
Okay, mother dragons.
Yeah, they ended up in Evansville. Pam, thank you. I haven't heard from you, Pam. Are you doing okay? I was thinking about you today earlier because I still got pine cones on my porch. And I was thinking about, I wonder if Pam is ready for those pine cones. Um, Thank you so much, Pam. Let me know how you're doing. Um, let's see.
Well, I think we are getting some rain. I'll be right back, Silky.
Okay. I'm looking through the comments real quick. Let's see here. Yes. Ed Gein, all time creep show. Yes, yes. Hey, Heather Brown. How are you? Mother of Dragons. Good to see you. How you been? Um, yeah, Heather, we're about done with this one. But only because we've been talking for 2 hours and 16 minutes. Good to see you, though. Yeah, I have to work, so I tried to start this one early because I knew we were going to get into some dark kind of crap. Um, so I don't know, y'all. In the comments, let me ask you this: what do y'all think? Because you've been making comments, but what do y'all think uh what do you think the end game is here for all these body parts? And did you know? Did you know it's legal in 47 states?
47
I
states.
mean,
That's crazy.
yeah, I'm very upset. Very upset about that.
Yeah.
Um and
Yeah.
yeah, so either it's I mean, I don't know. I can't figure out any other reason that you would want body parts hanging out at your house unless it was occultic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I really don't, because yeah. But I don't know. I mean, is there arts and crafts I'm unaware of? I mean,
I
like,
don't want to know. I don't want to
yeah, I don't either. But I'm like, why? I mean, I really do understand when people have living organs and they want transplants, but uh, well, I didn't say, David, I didn't say you can't say the A word. I said I can't say the A word because I'll get in trouble. But
Yeah, I
you
had
can say it in the chat. Um but but that would be a component. Like you wouldn't need a whole organ for that. You would
mm-hmm.
have to that would just be a component. Hiawatha. Hey, hi. Did I say hi to you earlier? I saw your stuff. I learned that it was legal after they found all those parts in Arizona. If you donate your body to science, hospitals, yeah, exactly. They can do exactly what they want. Lisa says, I think you traumatized Adrienne. I know, right? I didn't mean to.
It's
I
okay.
know.
I
I
mean, I
know.
learn crazy things every day that I was like,
Yeah,
oh man.
I
So,
know.
hmm
I know. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to,
oh
but
no, no, no,
I had
no.
no idea either.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I thought we were just gonna look at some crime and
hmm and then
not
they're
do
not getting arrested or put away for, for the long time that they need to be put away for. So,
yeah. It's just yeah, it's just that Oh, Pam says I've made you change your mind on your final decision. Yeah, I changed mine too.
Me too.
I did. I changed mine not only on being a donor, but on I'm absolutely want to be cremated because I am afraid that I will be decomposing on somebody's sofa. Um,
Oh no.
or out just in the backyard. Like just
Right.
like what if I don't like the scenery? Like and what if the raccoons come like this is Alabama. You know, I just,
Not the raccoons.
yeah, the raccoons. I don't want to be mauled by eaten by a raccoon or a possum. Like, look,
Oh my.
no. Or we've got all kind of stuff here. We got
Yeah.
cryptids. Like I don't
Oh,
know.
you do. Yeah. Some
Yeah.
spooky ones.
Yeah, we do.
Oh,
That's a whole nother story.
I know.
that's that's a spooky Southern tea, discussion. But yeah, I got all kind of stuff in here, and then again, I don't want part of me. Like I want it to be a choice. Like I don't want to be on Jim Bob's refrigerator, or it's
No.
like I've got these. I think they're hilarious, and I keep them out all year round. But and this is the time of year where you get them. I go to the Dollar Tree and I get the little arms with the hands. That just stick up. They're the Halloween decorations, and they're like great for salad and spaghetti. They're perfect, especially spaghetti, because they really get in there and get just the noodles that you want.
Mm-hmm.
So I put them, like people have their things sitting on the kitchen counter,
Yeah.
the little vase or whatever, like the piece of, and it's got like your little utensils, your spatulas, and your spoons and all that, because and I do too. Well, in there with that, I've got these hands that are like doing this, you know, and they're out all year round. And I
That's
forget that
awesome.
people don't have them
I
because,
need to get
to me, they're utensils.
some.
And people are like coming over and they're grabbing, they're like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, what? That's my spaghetti grabbers.
They work really well.
They do. They're perfect. And you can even twist them around if you need to. And they're curved, like right on the end. Let me get my hand
Aw.
here. They're curved like on the end. So if you twist them around, they just slide right off. It's perfect. So I try to get like a
Mhm.
pair. They're like $1.25 now at the Dollar Tree. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they last. So I have a couple of backup pairs because in case a finger breaks or something,
There you go.
I don't have to wait till October.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
I
I
need
don't
to.
understand why they're not made that way to start with.
Yeah. I don't either.
These are some of the things that you will find if you come to visit. And I'm
Mhm.
going to look at you and say, what?
What?
You don't have that? You don't do that? What's wrong with you?
I love it. Oh my gosh.
It makes sense.
It does. It does. I want some now.
You'll see. You'll
Yeah.
see. You'll thank me. Y'all
I
in the
will.
comments, you will thank me. Because when you
Yes.
grab those noodles, you're going to say, oh my God, this is the best noodle grabber I have ever had.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, hi guys.
But yeah, I have no idea where I was going with that. I don't even
Oh
know how I
yeah.
got there.
That's okay. Yeah. I mean, now I'm like fixated on spaghetti. I'm like, I could go for some spaghetti.
I know. I don't know. I guess we were talking about decor. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't
But
know either.
yes, that's what I was going to say. I want to choose where my ashes go. I don't want my
Yeah.
hand in Jim Bob's kitchen, like
Oh, yeah.
grabbing their noodles just because. Yeah, I don't want to be somebody's noodle grabber.
Oh,
So that is the point.
yeah.
So that's why I changed my thinking on this too,
Yeah.
Pam. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to do that. I'm always going to do that now for the future.
Hello, Andre. It's okay. We're gonna shut it down here. Dino, good to see you. All right. I am going to go because I do have to work tomorrow. But I have thoroughly enjoyed this.
I did
And
too. Thank you so much for having me on. And this was a really fascinating topic that now is going to make a lot more sense with everything else. So,
yeah, it's one of those things that you just put it on the pile. And I'm also going to be looking out for other things like
yeah.
to reference. When I see these weird things happen, I'm
Mhm.
going to be stacking it up with this and saying, is that something I need to look into in relationship to this?
That's
Just
smart.
like the DOC thing that I
Yes.
covered because it was a weird case. And now I'm like, oh, this
Yeah.
is the rabbit hole gets way deeper
Yeah.
and uglier. So,
Yep.
yeah. Let's
Well,
do this again, Adrienne. You
I
can
would
pick
love
the
to.
topic next time.
No, this was fascinating. Honestly, I had a great time. So thank you.
All right. Thank y'all all in the chat. Um, and I don't know, I'll be back soon and um give Adrienne some love. And I will
Oh,
see you soon.
hopefully soon.
Sometime soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Soon.
Stay safe out there. Watch out for your body parts. Make sure you know
Yes.
where your organs are going when you
Yes.
pass. For
Yes.
sure. Whatever you do, just stay silky. Bye bye.